It's 2026, and you're a solo founder building a complex application called VeriHash. The speed is intoxicating. Login boilerplate appears in seconds. API documentation becomes perfect summaries. Features brainstormed in the chat return as crisp, structured ideas. Because the output is conversational, your brain falls into a psychological trap. You begin treating the software like a trusted human co-founder, providing it with context and even social niceties. Treating a highly efficient statistical tool as a thinking colleague guarantees that the project will eventually fail. That failure usually arrives at the 90% wall. The moment the project shifts from basic, repetitive tasks to multi-step logic, the software's capability fractures. It confidently writes calls to API endpoints that do not exist. When you paste the resulting error back into the chat, the machine offers an apology, promises a fix, and then generates the exact same broken code in a loop. The resulting frustration stems from the expectation of comprehension. You are expecting the machine to understand your goals. This friction marks the point where the machine hits its mechanical limit. It operates without an internal concept of truth, loyalty, or a desire to help. LLMs calculate the statistical probability of the next token, a small 4-character chunk. They resolve sentences through math, not comprehension. Apparent empathy is a mathematical outcome. Because human frustration is followed by sympathetic patterns in training data, the model replicates that sequence. True conscious thought is proactive and original. This output is reactive, a calculator resolving an equation to its highest probability conclusion. The AI acts as a probabilistic mirror, reflecting human data back at the user. Conversational history eventually leads to context poisoning. As chat grows, disorganized tokens clutter the memory, skewing output off target. Maintaining accuracy requires a hard reset. Treating the AI as a stateless function with a single, highly structured prompt keeps the output aligned. You force the engine to expose its mathematical steps through a chain-of-thought technique. This makes the logic explicit and prevents hidden leaps that lead to errors. Control is established through anchoring. By providing a strict structural constraint, like a TypeScript interface, you force the AI to operate purely within those boundaries. Successful AI engineering relies on rigid architectural constraints rather than fluid conversation. These constraints are vital for security, especially against shadow AI. This involves unvetted third-party wrappers that silently ingest proprietary logic and data into external environments. Security protocols in 2026 require aggressive scrubbing of configurations. Hard-coding API keys into prompts that leave the local environment is a critical vulnerability. For sensitive cryptography or backend code, the pivot is to local, sandboxed models. Tools like Llama allow for absolute data sovereignty by running the probabilistic engine entirely on your own hardware. Trusting a permeable machine with unsecured secrets represents an architectural failure by the human. Wielding AI as a mechanical force multiplier allows for a massive expansion of individual capability. A solo entrepreneur can now execute the coding, testing, and deployment of a multi-billion-dollar firm from a garage. This array of educational tools demonstrates how AI can mechanically adapt complex topics for different learning styles. It provides barrier-free education without human fatigue. This technology removes the mechanical bottlenecks that hold back human potential. We see the peak of this symbiosis in scientific breakthroughs. Google DeepMind's AlphaFold used these systems to predict protein structures at speeds that transformed the field of biology. The operating principle for this era is trust but verify. The human must always own the architecture and the correctness of the final output. The AI is an advanced hammer. Mastering the mechanical reality of the machine allows you to move from a user to the architect of the future.